Channel Robert Kesakos is your usual suspect. Welcome back to yet another live broadcast on your favorite football updates channel. It's a pleasure to be back. The big smile you see here is somebody forced me into a smile about something to do with Valentine's. But anyways, we'll leave that at that for now and get into the focus for why we are here tonight. For tonight, we'll be doing a watch along for the Inter Milan versus Juventus game. That game is a goal to nil already. There's been an own goal to give Inter Milan the lead in that one. Also, we'll be receiving updates from the game between Liverpool and Brighton in the FA Cup, as well as the game between Real Madrid and Real Sociedad in the Spanish La Liga. So, as you can imagine, it's an action-packed, a night/evening for us here on the Football Tribe UG channel. Jesus Y815 says, Tribe, drink some water. Always, I do have my hydration bottle next to me, in the flames to go through broadcast. So, and I don't know if you've noticed, but my angle is slightly different from the usual because I'm using multiple screens to keep tabs on the respective fixtures that we'll be following tonight. So any of your contributions as per the fixtures will be much welcome for our broadcast tonight. So kindly indulge me as I finish our setup and we go through tonight's broadcast. But yeah, I hope you had a wonderful day. Did you get a haircut? No. I got this about a week ago now. I usually do get my hair cut every 2 weeks. So this is it's the start of week 2. So I got it the other week. But thanks for asking. Maybe because I've brushed it a little bit, it may look a bit different or slightly newer. Meanwhile, according to my updates, Real Madrid are leading by a goal to nil in their game. So but we're going to be getting those updates in just a bit. I'm trying to have my setup completed. Look very handsome, Tribe. Thank you so much. Thanks for the compliment. So yeah, we're trying to get ourselves set up. Jesus Christ, it's one of those. It's one of those evenings where you really having it. Meanwhile, Alexander Trent-Arnold is back in the starting 11 for Real Madrid. A very beautiful sight to see. I mean, I really feel for Alexander Trent-Arnold. I think he's provided the assist for that one. And the reason that's why I feel for him myself is because he made a good transfer. Never mind that I support Real Madrid. But yeah, he does provide the assist for, I think, Gonzalo Garcia's goal there to give Real Madrid the lead. The reason as to why, I want him to succeed is because of all the backlash, both justified and unjustified, deserved, most of it undeserved, that he got in the wake of the news that he was going to leave, Liverpool. So a lot of, Liverpool fans came, to attack him and things like that. But yeah, Real Madrid, through Gonzalo Garcia, are leading that game by goal to nil, a goal scored in the 50th minute. So, you will be getting everything from that side. Oh, okay. I thought something wasn't done. Anyways, so yeah, that's happening. And like I said, Inter Milan are equally 1-0 up against Juventus in the Italian Serie A. Beautiful game of football there. Whoa. Whoa, Pedri. Jesus wants to marry you. I can see. Pedri, please, do not insinuate anything. I just want to be nice. Exactly. Jesus is being nice. Say hi for me, please. That's Alvaro Vlogs, P6B. Alvaro Vlogs, good to have you on the broadcast. Why are you joining us from Alvaro Vlogs? And thank you for choosing to be part of us tonight on this beautiful Saturday night, 10 minutes past 11 p.m. East African time on my clock on this side of the continent. I don't know about you guys, but yeah, it's that time. That's horrible. That's horrible. Okay. So please, Alvaro Blogs, please consider subscribing to the channel, but also liking the broadcast for this particular, purpose. You're saying, Jesus says it's 11 minutes past 2 p.m. in the USA. Okay, that's beautiful to know. That's beautiful to know. Jesus Christ. I'm having multiple screens that I ought to keep tabs on. So indulge me if I take my sights off in the direction of my blogging screen, So that's what happens on a very busy Saturday when you have tasks of keeping up to date or keeping tabs on multiple games. But once I finish this setup, I will be able to chat a way forward. Did any of you manage to catch the Aston Villa Newcastle game? Yes, somebody is asking me about Mark Bizot. That's GFT 4771 says hello. Yeah, I mean, that was one of the most stupid errors by a football player you're going to see in recent times. I mean, you're way out of you're miles out of your area or the box where usually goalkeeper gets protection, and I never understand why players prefer to get a red card as opposed to, not committing a foul, but then conceding a goal from which you can recover from. First of all, you're already leading the game by 0-0. Of course, you do not want to squander that lead. You do not want to lose it. But you're better off the game being 1-1 and you're 11 men, because I thought 11 men of Aston Villa versus Newcastle would have gotten the better of Newcastle, but in the end they lost by 3-1. Why? Because Mark Bizot decided to commit such a horrendous mistake or foul on Jacob Murphy, and I'm thinking to myself, like, why do you feel the need to do that? Why do you feel the need to do that? It's a very unnecessary foul, in my opinion. And I remember saying this. I think it was Bijol, the Leeds defender. Remember in their 2-2 draw against Chelsea, him pushing Joao Pedro with both hands. And I'm thinking to myself, if I'm the manager, if I'm Daniel Fekir, I'm fining you worth a week's wages for such a stupid mistake. And in any case, it's no longer a mistake because it's that deliberate, it's that blatant, It's such a stupid, it's a blatant action that you don't need to take. Meanwhile, Juventus, through, Cambiaso, has scored to restore parity, and it's 1-1 here in the Italian Serie A. Big game there that is ongoing in the Italian Serie A. Of course, Inter Milan want to strengthen their grip on the summit of the Italian Serie A table following AC Milan's 2-1 victory yesterday against Pisa. Massimiliano Allegri is breathing really down under the nose of, Inter Milan. Even though they were to lose this game, they would remain at the summit of the table because they were ahead with about 5 points or something thereabout before today's fixture. So we'll have to wait and see how the table looks like. But Juventus, through Cambiaso, have a squad to make it 1-1 in this game as we speak. So yeah, okay. So I mean, you say if I were Emre, I would be fuming. Exactly, you would be fuming. I would be fining you at least a week's wage or 50% of your wages, that week, because I would understand if the foul had been in his box and he's attempting to catch the ball, maybe what appears to be a loose, touch from Jacob Murphy. But he's miles off the line that he does not need to commit that foul, He does not need to commit that foul, and yet he chooses to go ahead and commit it anyway, You blatantly, deliberately put your team at a disadvantage. I understand the cliche of, it's better to play against 11 men than it is to play against 11, but the cost that comes with. It's still very young in the game, and then he does something that stupid, So, I mean, if it's the 85th minute of the game, I would understand, because with 5 minutes left to play and possibly another 5 or 6 of added minutes of stoppage time, maybe you can hold it out to a 1-0 victory. But you're far from that. You're far from that. So it's a risk that you did not need to take, So what is the score for the Liverpool game? That game is still goalless between Liverpool and Brighton and Hove Albion. But Real Madrid are leading by 0-0 against Real Sociedad. That goal scored by Gonzalo Garcia with, Alexander Trent-Arnold providing the assist, while Juventus versus Inter Milan is still 1-1. Yesterday, PSG were thrashed by Stade Rennes by 3-1. I mean, it's been that kind of weekend so far. And, I mean, Wrexham are into the 5th round of the FA Cup. There's something that Ryan Reynolds is doing right with that team. There's a lot he's doing with that team, And the world ought to be keeping their eyes on Wrexham in one way or the other. Okay. Brighton almost playing themselves into trouble there. Were lucky to get away with one. Real Madrid actually scored from corner kicks. Oh, Kenan Yildiz forcing Jan Sommer into a brilliant save in the Juventus Inter Milan game there. Wow. He tried to use the defender as sort of his shadow to bend that ball to the far post. But Jan Sommer was up to the challenge and he puts it wide. Yildiz there, Kenan Yildiz, the Turkish international, one of those young players that has attracted a lot of interest from all clubs, from some of the European giants. There's interest from the Premier League. There's interest certainly from the Spanish La Liga. Predominantly was being linked with the potential move to Real Madrid. But also, last I checked, he was close to agreeing to a new long-term contract with the old lady there, one of the stars of that team. The very, very young star with, one of the impressive things about it is that we are not accustomed to Juventus or largely the Italian Serie A giants playing with fairly young players. And you have players like Kenan Yildiz that are really, really banging it out there. You look at players like Francesco Consecao, because ordinarily you'd have an Andrea Pirlo, you'd have a Blaise Matuidi, you'd have you'd have the Cellini people, guys that have really, really come of age. And yet this time around, you have a Winston McKennie, scrappy, but Inter Milan clear the lines there. Oh, that's a foul. Somebody is going to get booked. Oh, so yeah, it's been that kind of day. Meanwhile, earlier on in the FA Cup, Man City beat up against Salford by 2-0. There in the games that kicked off at 6 p.m. Then you had other results like I told you, Wrexham were winners. Just trying to find the actual where's my dashboard for the FA Cup? Okay, better off using another screen. West Ham after extra time knocked out Burton. Chelsea yesterday winning 4-0 against Hull City. Wrexham beat Ipswich Town by 0-0. Norwich knocked out. It's 2-0. Oh, sorry. Not 2-0. For a moment, I thought somebody had scored. It's not the case. Apologies on that one. Norwich beat up against West Bromwich Albion by 3-1. Southampton beat Leicester City by 2-1. West Ham knocked out Burton by 0-0. Mansfield Town beat Burnley by 2-1. Newcastle winning against Aston Villa by 3-1. Aston Villa scoring through what's the goal scorer? Oh, Jesus Christ. How am I forgetting already? Tammy Abraham, who was offside actually, and then Sandro Tonali with the brace, and then Nick Voltmada there on target. For Manchester City, the goal scorers were, there was an own goal by Alfie Dorrington, as well as McKay in the 81st minute, there to score for Man City in those games. Anyways, back to the Liverpool affairs. Whereas there had been an expectation that Liverpool, would field a fairly weak team or a very changed team because the manager was saying, they have to keep their players fresh. They need to give them a rotation, but he's literally gone all out. He's literally gone all out. Because they have Alisson Ramsey-Specker in goal, they have Ibrahim Konate, Virgil van Dijk, Dominic Szoboszlai, Milos Kerkez, Curtis Jones, McAllister, Florian Wirtz, Federico Chiesa, Mo Salah, as well as Cody Gakpo there, starting. On the side of Brighton, they have Stele in goal, John Van Hecke, Lewis Dunk, Veltman, Kadioglu, Henschwold, Carlos Huoma, Baleba, Pascal Grob, Gomez, Costolas, as well as Howell. Yes, that's how the setup for Brighton and Liverpool are looking in that game. Not much is separating these two sides because that game is still goalless, while the game between Inter Milan and Juventus is still 1-1 with Cambiaso's goal there helping to restore parity to cancel out what was the lead for Inter Milan. Inter Milan's goal was an own goal by Cambiaso. So Cambiaso deflected the ball into the back of the net on his end and then made amends when he scored to restore parity to put the game back to square, while the game between Real Madrid and Real Sociedad is a 0-0 in favor of Real Madrid, thanks to Gonzalo Garcia. That's what's happening on that front. Then today, Tottenham Hotspurs did confirm the appointment of Igor Tudor as their head coach or boss until the end of the season. He comes on as an interim. Well, he will either have his reputation to build or to sort of ruin if he can't get things done. I mean, because, helping Tottenham avoid relegation shouldn't be considered a football miracle at this stage. Oh, is this not a foul? He doesn't get the touch of the ball. Dinhausen, he takes the player down, and that's a penalty. Mikel Oyarzabal steps up to take this one. And it's 1-1. Equalizer. Mikel Oyarzabal from the penalty spot gets the better of Thibaut Courtois to restore parity for Real Sociedad. Real Sociedad 1, Real Madrid 1. Oyarzabal with the equalizer. Wow. What a penalty that was. Powerful penalty in the roof, centrally. Thibaut Courtois goes the other way, and it's a brilliant goal. Brilliant goal there from Mikel Oyarzabal. Of course, Dinhausen gets himself a yellow card for conceding that foul. It was a mistimed challenge because he doesn't get a touch of the ball, and then he brings down the Real Sociedad player. So, it's 1-1. Meanwhile, Bayern Munich beat up against Werder Bremen by 3-0 in that classic encounter. Harry Kane once again from the penalty spot, and another he had the brace, as well as Leon Goretzka in that game. Luis Diaz only provided an assist. I mean, if Bayern Munich were to go ahead as they are going to do and win the German Bundesliga, maybe win the DFB Pokal, are they still in it? I would want to hope so. and then win the UEFA Champions League, then please be sure to count Harry Kane and Luis Diaz on the Ballon d'Or. Now, the unfortunate bit for them is that it's a World Cup year, so whoever wins the World Cup will equally have a say on the Ballon d'Or. So that's going to be a key factor. I don't know. The other day we were speaking about this with Pedri, and we were saying that it almost doesn't feel like it's a World Cup year. It doesn't feel like the World Cup is 4 months from now, because I don't know, a lot of the international media. Okay, I don't want to blame this on the international media, but it almost feels like maybe it's just me, but I'm just not feeling that World Cup fever. I'm not feeling that anticipation, because usually by the time we are 4 months to the World Cup, you're hearing all these sorts of promos. And this has to do with even our domestic companies, because usually our domestic companies do campaigns of, let's say, Crown Beverages, of Coca or Pepsi Cola will do something like sip and win a ticket to go and watch the World Cup, something like that. Or some of the alcohol companies, they will do those kinds of promos, to say drink and stand a chance to win a ticket to go and watch a live game at the World Cup. I'm not hearing any of that. I'm not hearing any of that. And I would want to think, maybe partly because people know how difficult it is going to be to get a US visa just to go and watch the World Cup. Why do I need to pay a ransom, although it's called bond fees, or it's being called bond fees, just to get a visa to go and watch a game of football? If I can't afford the game of football, wow, Real Madrid back in the lead through Vinicius Jr. from the penalty spot. He was brought down in the area, and it's a goal. It's Real Madrid 2, 1 Real Sociedad. That's Vinicius Jr. from the penalty spot. He sends, wow, what a cheeky penalty from Vinicius Jr. He sends the goalkeeper the other way. He does that little jump stop kind of movement, the way Jorginho likes to do it, the way Bruno Fernandes normally does it. And, Real Madrid, it's 2-1 for Real Madrid against, Real Sociedad. Of course, Jude Bellingham is upset. He's right up there in the stands, watching from the stands. Oh, how did that not go in? Inter Milan were inches away to making it 2-1. How did that not go in? How did that not go in? Oh, Kalulu has been booked. Kalulu has been sent off with a second yellow card, and subsequently it's a red card. He's protesting the yellow card because he thinks it's a dive from the Inter Milan player. Federico Di Marco is asking him to come down and walk off the pitch. I need to revisit this. Oh, actually, the referee gets this wrong. He doesn't touch him. No, that's a blatant dive. Because it's a red card. I don't know if they will intervene, because it's a yellow card that leads to a red card, but they should be able to intervene. That's not sufficient for booking. That's not sufficient for a yellow card. VAR should be intervening to say, you got this one wrong. But on the other side, we are seeing the ball hits the inside of the upright and comes off the inside of the upright on the other side. So it hits both poles, and then doesn't go in. that header from Marcus Thuram. He heads it quite powerfully to the floor. The goalkeeper gets his palms to it. Ball hits on the inside of the upright this side, and then goes across goal to hit on the other side, and then comes back into play. The referee is sticking with his decision. I don't understand why VAR is not intervening. He's totally got that one wrong. And for me, that's what I was afraid of. That because it's not a direct red card, VAR may not intervene. But there's no way you send off Kalulu for that. Wow. Absolute madness. I mean, he comes for a challenge. He opts not to go in for it. He kind of sticks his arm out, and on the mere feel of a touch, which is not actually a pull, the Inter Milan goes to the floor and the referee blows his whistle, awards a second yellow card. I don't know how VAR has not intervened in that one. Clearly, that's a clear and obvious error by the referee that ought to be called to his attention to say, look here, mate, you may have not seen this one the way you think, or it may have not happened the way you think it did happen, Oh. Wow. That's football for you. Absolute madness. Anyway, the thing about VAR, FIFA does not give respective domestic leagues stipulated rules of how to apply it or how to use it. So every league comes up with mechanisms of how they use it. So, for example, in the Premier League, you have that it can be used in every incident. It has to be a clear and obvious error by the referee, or something is missed and it's worthy of a second look, and those kinds of things. So as to avoid having the game being officiated by two referees, one that's on the pitch and another that's not on the pitch, But Juventus, I'm sure they will be appealing that red card in the aftermath of the game to lift the suspension on Kalulu. But oh my God. And the linesman on the other side, how does he not advise the referee that, look, maybe you're wrong about this one? Luciano Spalletti's men now have to play the remainder of the game with a man less following Kalulu's send-off. Kalulu, last weekend, meanwhile, Real Madrid have scored, and it's 3-1. It's 3-1 for Real Madrid. Last weekend, he scored the equalizer against Lazio. Federico Valverde, I don't know in how long, when he had last scored, but he's on the score sheet tonight for Real Madrid, and Alvaro Arbeloa will be really, really impressed with that first half performance, really. 3 Real Madrid, 1 Real Sociedad. Wow. Typical Federico Valverde goal. He puts that beyond the reach of the goalkeeper. The goalkeeper gets his fingertips to it. Meanwhile, Liverpool have also broken the deadlock to lead the game by a 1-0 against Brighton. Remember, there's no VAR here. So in the FA Cup, whatever mistakes that the referee makes, they do stand. That's what we saw in the earlier game between Newcastle and Aston Villa. Newcastle were denied a penalty because there was a handball. in the area, but the referee gave it as though it was outside the area for what culminated into the first goal, which was the equalizer. Should have been a penalty. Then Tammy Abraham's goal shouldn't have stood because he was in an offside position when Douglas Luiz plays in that ball. You know? The game between Juventus and Inter Milan has gone into halftime with the two sides sharing the spoils in a 1-all draw. Cambiaso scoring on both ends of the pitch, an own goal in the back of his own net, but also later making amends for the equalizer on the other side. King Love 2000 says, hey to you too, how are you doing? Where are you joining us from, King Love? Yeah, it's Cody Gakpo that scored to give Liverpool the lead. Oh, wow. The linesman took his time on that one. He raises his flag to say he was offside. Could be right about this one. Dominic Soboslai with quite the pace on that ball. I don't know. I know Soboslai missed it. There's something I need to educate myself about when it comes to red cards. I thought Soboslai shouldn't be part of this game, but he is. Because I understand he missed their game against Sunderland, and he had played almost 90 minutes in the game against Man City, but it was a straight red card. Hi, King Love. I hope you're okay. Where are you joining us from? Liverpool's goal was chopped for offside, so it doesn't stand. So the goal remains goalless. But Mohamed Salah is trying to conjure out something here. Can he go through? Oof. Straight to the goalkeeper. Stele. Straight to the goalkeeper. If there's anybody that lost their scoring boots this season, it's Mohamed Salah. And it's not entirely on him, but the team no longer plays around him as they used to. Now they hand down the Ekitike, Flanvitz before they find more Salah. But wow, that Fede Valverde ball with the inside of his foot puts a bit of pace to it. Well placed. Well placed. Almost feels like he was surprised by himself. Absolute madness. Meanwhile, tomorrow, Napoli are up against AC Roma in the Italian Serie A at a quarter to 11 p.m. So do not miss out on that action as well. For those of you that enjoy the Italian Serie A, some big games. Barcelona will have to play on Monday against Girona. Midweek, of Milos Kakes forcing the Brighton goalkeeper still into a brilliant save. I was telling you in midweek, we have the UEFA Champions League. The UEFA Champions League playoffs get underway. We know Real Madrid have Benfica. We know Inter Milan have a game, Newcastle have a game against Karabakh. Excuse me. Oh, Liverpool were hoping for a penalty, but the referee couldn't disagree more because it gives Brighton a free kick. Virgil van Dijk appears to have pushed Van Hecke. So yeah, Next week, on Tuesday in the UEFA Champions League, action will be coming between Galatasaray and Juventus, Dortmund against Atalanta, Monaco, PSG, Benfica, Real Madrid. Then on Wednesday, Karabakh versus Newcastle, Olympiacos versus Bayer Leverkusen, Club Brugge at home against Atletico de Madrid, while Inter Milan will be away to Bodo Glimt. So those are the UEFA Champions League playoffs that will be coming midweek next week. So do not miss out on all that action. I mean, they already look like big games. Real Madrid Benfica is a must watch for us. Monaco PSG feels like another one of those must watches. And then on Wednesday, Inter versus Bodo Glimt, as well as Atletico de Madrid versus Club Brugge is another must watch for us. So we'll do our best to keep you abreast on the developments from all those respective fixtures, yeah, as things go. But Carlos Bareba getting himself in the referee's book here for foul on McAllister. There's a fan in here with a headgear that looks like the head of an eagle, almost dressing his head like a mascot. Eduardo Camavinga ought to be careful with some of his reckless tackles. Otherwise, Liverpool looks like at long last have a genuine goal. At long last have a genuine goal. The battle collects perfectly well. Van Dijk to Gakpo. McAllister. Kakis. Curtis Jones. There's no denying that one. You'll forgive me, my feed is a couple of seconds behind, but yeah, this one will stand. Definitely. Curtis Jones. Milos Kakis with the assist, and Kakis buries into the back of the net to give the Reds the deserved lead. They've been on top of affairs this in the first half. It's almost been one-way traffic in terms of goalkeeping duties, because it's Stele that has been the busier of the two goalkeepers on the night. Should be doing better to stop the cross, but he slows himself down, more like as if to imagine that there's nothing Kakis is going to do with that one. Crosses that ball beautiful well. Liverpool 1, Brighton 0. Real Madrid still leading by 3-1. As we edge closer to halftime, about 42 minutes played. Meanwhile, on the other side, we're edging closer to resumption of the game between Inter Milan and Juventus that went into halftime one apiece. Kalulu could not believe his sight as the referee gave him that second yellow card. Brighton are doing their best to try and find an equalizer in this game. I don't know what to make of Fabian Hartzler, but it looks to be falling short of what Graham Potter was, and subsequently Roberto Di Zerbi. An evenly matched contest between Juventus and Inter Milan, but going into the second half, you understand the balance of scale has been tipped into Inter Milan's favor with the sending off of Kalulu there. We're into stoppage time of the opening stanza. Rafael Leao has been a bit of a muted figure this season. I don't know whether it's me who has not followed him enough. Vinicius Jr. Oh, Alison Ramses Baker with a brilliant save against Gomez. Liverpool have gone into halftime with that 1-0 lead thanks to a goal by Curtis Jones, with Milos Kakes providing the assist, while Real Madrid are leading by 3-1. As we age, we are destined for halftime. Carlo Ramos, Vinicius Jr. from the penalty spot, and Fede Valverde, the goal scorers for Real Madrid, with Mikel Oyarzabal scoring from the penalty spot for what had been an equalizer earlier on in that game. Forgive my yawning. It's been a long day. Sporty bets. Sporty TV is bringing us the Italian Serie A live on YouTube. Yep. That's why we're catching the game between Juventus and Inter Milan. Hi, LFC. You say I'm back. Yes, LFC. How are you doing, my brother, today? What did you make of Liverpool's first half performance as they go into halftime with a 1-0 lead against Brighton and Hove Albion there? What did you make of that game? You know, Meanwhile, Nottingham Forest also appointed Vita Pereira as their new head coach until the end of the season as an interim. You said great first half. Yep, go on indeed. Do you think the linesman made the right call in calling, Cody Gakpo's call, cancelling it for an offside? Do you think the linesman was spot on? Yeah, great call from the linesman. Yep, that's what the other one missed in Aston Villa's defeats against Newcastle. That Tammy Abraham goal shouldn't have stood. Somebody says, guys, I just learned something new. Jeremy Doku has 7 Premier League goals in 3 seasons. Goodbye, shower time. Oh, you're using halftime to take a bath. All right, good luck. Yep, but yeah, very, very great Liverpool first half. Those opening 45 minutes, Liverpool looked the better side by far. They kept Stele, the Brighton goalkeeper, quite busy as compared to Alson Ramsey-Specker on the other side. Man, Alexander Trent-Arnold with that pinpoint pass, is simply too nice to watch. Meanwhile, Gonzalo Garcia should have scored another when Fede Valverde led him on. Wow. We are back for the second half between Juventus and Inter Milan. We'll be keeping you. All right. Oh, yes. Remembered what I was going to look for for a second there. Juventus will have to be defensively very, very disciplined if they are to walk out of this game with a point. Otherwise, it's going to be a long day in office for them for the second half with the madness. You're not missing much. The game between Real Madrid and Real Sociedad is into halftime, and then the game between Liverpool Brighton is also at halftime. Meanwhile, the game between Juventus and Inter Milan is back for the second half, but you're not missing much there either. So, yep. Okay, here they come, Juventus on the break. They just can't overcommit those numbers up front because they know they are vulnerable with the manless on the other side. Marco Bizzotti. Oh, yeah, or Sociedad. Maybe we need to add that as well. Jan Sommer with a comfortable save as Juventus. Oh, it's almost a double save. Actually, make that a triple save. The third being very comfortable. The first two not very comfortable. Beautiful end-to-end football. Yannick Besic. Oh, that's a foul. That's a foul. Yannick Besic, that's a foul. Now, that is worthy of a yellow card compared to what Kalulu got. Bastoni literally should have been given a yellow card for booking, for diving. He should have received a yellow card for diving. Bastoni. Should have received a yellow card for assimilation, for trying to woodwink the referee. But again, I don't know what the rules say about the usage of VAR, but I thought VAR should have intervened in that second booking because it leads to a red card, because it leads to a sending off. But they did not. They did not. They did not. Yep. What Yannick Besic just committed there, the foul that is just committed, is 10 times worthy a yellow card compared to what Kalulu did on Bastoni. Sorry. Was it Bastoni? Yeah, it was Alessandro Bastoni. For those of you that are just joining us, missing much, Nico Barella has been withdrawn for Inter Milan. Guys, I keep looking here because my screen for the Inter Milan Juventus game is here. My broadcast screen is here. My screen for the Liverpool Brighton game is here. For Real Madrid is over here. That's the kind of imagination for a setup that you should have this evening as we go through this broadcast. For those of you that are just joining us, that's why I keep looking the other side even though my broadcast screen is here. I thought about, doing a 360 or a 180 for the purposes of tonight's broadcast, but then I figured maybe not, because the background on the other side is not something that I'm at ease with you guys seeing. So, so yeah, that's why I keep looking over there. That I'm following the events. We're following the action from the Juventus Inter Milan game that is 1-1 at the moment. Cambiaso with both goals, but Juventus are down to 10 men thanks to the referee's error in sending off Kalulu. But yeah, it is what it is. It is what it is. Zielinski, Di Marco with the cross, headed away. Remember, Inter Milan are under the charges of Christian Chivu, who replaced Simone Inzaghi. I used to enjoy Simone Inzaghi on the touchline. Now I no longer get to enjoy him because he's in the Saudi Pro League. Games that I often not get to watch. Only that I watched the other game between Al Nassr and Al Ittihad, which Al Nassr won by 2-0, a penalty from Sadio Mane, and another red goal scorer. His name eludes me, Cambiaso could get booked for dissent, could talk himself into a yellow card. He seems to having a bit of a fury with the referee. Oh, is there a potential penalty? Not really. Chanalolu or Pietro Zelinski. There. We're almost getting back for the game between Real Madrid and Real Sociedad. Second half will be underway in a bit. just as much as is Liverpool. Liverpool against Brighton. We are back. We are back for Liverpool Brighton as well. Inter Milan are going to have a very difficult game away to Norway against Bodo Glimt. Luciano Spalletti is looking to make a double substitution to his side. He did guide Napoli to the triumph of the Scudetto. I think that was 2022-2023 campaign. Before he moved on to manage the Italian national team, where they part ways with him and was subsequently replaced by Gennaro Gattuso. Nothing about Gennaro Gattuso, besides him being an Italian-born and perhaps legend of the game in Italian football, that screams Italian national team manager. Not for me. Never in a million years. Alson Ramsey-Becker got away with one there. Gomez had closed him down. Guedes is being brought on for Real Sociedad. We're into the 62nd minute of the Juventus Inter Milan game, still 1-1 apiece. Juventus have so far done well to stay in the game. They've defended well, but have not gone forward well when they've had the opportunity. Vinicius Jr. just met somebody in the area. Looks like Real Madrid could get themselves, Real Madrid have themselves another penalty, and Vinicius Jr. converts from the penalty spot. Real Madrid 4, 1 Real Sociedad. That's 3 penalties in this game, 2 going Real Madrid's way. Vinicius Jr. winning the penalties for Real Madrid and taking the responsibility to convert them from the spot. And once again, he's had no issues extending Real Madrid's lead to 4-1. I think the game is running away from Real Sociedad, who played, was it on Tuesday or Wednesday? I think on Tuesday or Wednesday against Real Sociedad, against Athletic Bilbao in the semi-finals, first leg of the Copa del Rey. Oh, you're not missing much. Besides Real Madrid, who have gotten themselves the fourth through Vinicius Junior's penalty, Liverpool is still 1-0 against Brighton. That goal scored by Curtis Jones in the first half. Inter Milan and Juventus is still 1-1. Oh. Mm. Wow. How did that not go in? Brighton came this close to getting an equalizer. I don't know how that stayed out. Lewis Dunk, I think it was, who hits the ball back across goal. Arsene Ramsey-Becker gets his hand to it. Wow. I think it was Van Hecke was diving in because Arsene Ramsey-Becker beat him to the ball. Oof. Brighton with some two beautiful chances in the second half, but couldn't capitalize. Real Madrid, here they come. Oh, corner kick. Meanwhile, on the other side, it's block after block for Juventus. Oh, come on. Football is that cruel. Liverpool 2, Brighton 0. I mean, it's Brighton that have created the best scoring opportunities of the second half, and yet it's Liverpool who go on the other side and double their lead. That's the cruel side about football. Sometimes, I've said this before and I'll say it again, sometimes the performance does not reflect the results, or the results does not reflect the performance. Because how are Liverpool leading by 2-0 when it's Brighton that have created the two best chances of the second half? But Dominic Szoboszlai with a beautiful goal, beautiful goal. The Hungarian international just put a needle in the Brighton foot there. Goalkeeper Stele can't believe what's happened to him. I think it was Mo Salah who's passed the ball, doesn't even control it, just passes it in the right space for Bosley. That's the quality of Mo Salah. It's a perfect ball. So Bosley runs to it inside the 18 yards box. Equally takes fast touch to it. Brilliant strike. Liverpool 2, Brighton 0. What a pass from Salah. Here they come again. Uh-oh. McAllister couldn't find the right space to put his finest touches onto it. Otherwise, space was quite limited by the time he gets to it. We're headed into the final 20 minutes of the game between Juventus and Inter Milan. Still one apiece. Juventus will be happy with themselves. They've not conceded so far in the second half. They've not looked panicky. They've done things quite calmly. Here they come on a counter. Winston McKennie. Oh, was there a push on Winston McKennie as he tried to pass that ball? Ah. Oh. No, you can't give a penalty for that handball. Oh, wow. Marcus Thuram with a beautiful attempt, but it goes just over the bar. It goes just over the bar. Couldn't keep it low enough. Oh. Tried to carve it into the top corner. I just couldn't get it right. Isabella Martin says, I'm back. Hi to you too. How are you doing? It's always a pleasure to have you back and have you around. I hope you're doing okay. Real Madrid still holding on to their 4-1 lead against Real Sociedad. A brace from Vinicius Jr., Federico Valverde with a goal, and Gonzalo Garcia, while Mikel Oyarzabal was the other goal scorer. Liverpool leading by 2-0 against Brighton. Dominic Szoboszlai, their own target, as well as Curtis Jones in the first half to give the Reds a comfortable 2-0 lead against Brighton and Hove Albion. Remember, to get to this stage, Brighton and Hove Albion knocked out Manchester United, who they beat by 2-1 at the third round. We are on to the fourth round, and next will be the fifth round, which is also the round of 16 for the FA Cup. It's a cool, all right. Okay, that's good to know, Isabella Martin. Good to know you had a wonderful day. Try to kill a mosquito, guys. Do not be wondering why I'm clapping. I'm not clapping. Trying to get rid of an unwanted visitor there. Oh. Brighton are bringing on Yankuba Minte and Kaul Mitoma, while Real Madrid are raiding Dani Carvajal. Is a Juventus defender called Kelly. I forget his second name. He's one of those that I think Newcastle were interested in. Hunt is a good one. Pietro Zelinski couldn't keep it low, so it goes over the bar. Kenan Yildiz has been withdrawn for Boga. Liverpool, here they come. Beautiful pass from Salah. Soboslai, can he find a way through? Oh, overran that one. David Alaba and Dani Carvajal are back in action for Real Madrid. Alexander Trent-Arnold has been withdrawn for Dani Carvajal, as well as Antonio Rudiger, paving the way for Alaba. Came a point in time when Real Madrid didn't have all their most prominent centre-backs in Antonio Rudiger, in Eder Militao, in David Alaba. Oh, it's a goal. It's a goal. Inter Milan 2, Juventus 1. At long last, in the 76th minute of the game, Inter Milan have found finally a way through thanks to Esposito. Shot 94, Esposito just scored to give Inter Milan a 2-1 lead against Juventus. Juventus had done well in the second half to keep them out. But oh, what a goal. Federico Di Marco with a beautiful cross. Esposito with a beautiful header. Wow, that was a sumptuous cross from Di Marco. And then Esposito gets his head to it. And it's 2-1 in favor of Inter Milan. Cambiaso has been withdrawn for Openda. Time to get some fresh legs in there to see if Juventus can salvage a point. Last weekend, they were 2-0 down against Lazio, and through Winston McKennie and Kalulu, they found a way through. Oh, that cross was on the money. Yannick Pesic put it out. Bremer. Juventus are not going down with the fight. Oh, wow. I can see your desk for the first time. Yep. Because I changed the angle for tonight's broadcast, Reason being, my screen for the Juventus Inter Milan game is over here, and the one for the Real Madrid Sociedad game is over here, and then the one for the Liverpool versus Brighton is over here. So I had to tweak my angles a little bit to to have a good view of what's transpiring on tonight for me to be able to give you. Oh, wow. There's a penalty in the Liverpool Brighton game. Oh, Mohamed Salah. With Pascal Grob. It's 3-0. Oh, 3-0 for Liverpool. But DiMarco just missed a glorious opportunity on the other side to make it 3-0, to make it 3-1 for Inter Milan. Inter Milan on the break, on the counter-attack, he plays in DiMarco, just couldn't keep his opportunity on target. So they missed that chance. Big chance missed there. Besides, Pedri, I also lowered a bit my tripod. These days I've lowered it a bit. I don't know if you guys had noticed, but yeah. Mohamed Salah, so it's Kat Jones, Dominic Soboslai, and Mohamed Salah. Mohamed Salah with an assist and a goal in this one as Brighton go 3 down against Liverpool. Mohamed Salah from the penalty spot is the one that makes it 3-0. Real Madrid on the other side are still leading by 4 goals to 1, while Juventus are trying to find a way through, trying to find that equalizer, but it's still eluding them. Yankuba Minte. Yankuba Minte giving Cody Gakpo and Milos Kakis a difficult evening over there. Pedri, what game are you watching? I know you would have loved to gloat watch Real Madrid, but they're the ones winning. So unfortunately, you cannot hate watch. You cannot hate watch on that one. Maybe gloat watch is not the right word to use, but hate watch is the right word. Wow, quite a night it's been. 3 games ongoing. Remember, guys, tomorrow there's no morning broadcast, so it will be in the night. Ceteris paribus, provided all factors are kept constant. Fran Vitz has had a muted performance tonight, despite Liverpool's dominancy. It has felt muted, a bit muted for me. Oh, it's a goal. Juventus have an equalizer against Inter Milan through Manuel Locatelli. It's Juventus 2, Inter Milan 2. Juventus cannot believe it. They can't believe it. Manuel Locatelli with an equalizer. Inter Milan failed to defend there, and you can feel the significance of the goal with the celebrations there. Wow. Wow. Looks like for the second week running, Juventus could rescue a point. Last weekend, they were 2-0 down against Lazio, and they came from 2-0 down to rescue a point thanks to goals from Winston McKennie and Kalulu. Kalulu, who was sent off in this one. But wow, what a beautiful take for Manuel Locatelli. Beats Jan Sommer in goal. And it's Winston McKennie that provided the assist for this one. Wow, there's nowhere Jan Sommer was getting to that. Beautiful taken. Beautiful taken there at the iconic San Siro. Christian Chivu looking quite dismayed and disappointed by the performance of his team in how they defended there. Inter Milan, here they come, probing again. Beautiful cross. Now Juventus will need to keep the discipline back there. Inter Milan are looking to bring on Boni for Marcus Thuram. Marcus Thuram off, Boni on. Boni looks a little bit like Denzel Dumfries. A little bit like Denzel Dumfries. Luciano Spalletti will be happy to rescue a point here, given the circumstances, even though in an ideal world, they would love to win the game. That's a nice ball control from Christian Chivu. Oh, come on. Brighton trying to find a consolation through Kadioglu, but he couldn't pull it through because it takes a deflection before it goes over the bar. Inter Milan, here they come. Zielinski, Di Marco with the cross. Oh, goes through to the back post. Oh, can Hakanoglu's attempt was quite simple to collect. Meanwhile, Mo Salah being denied a run through on the other side for Liverpool against Brighton. All right. 2 minutes to the 90th minute mark in the game between Juventus and Inter Milan. They are looking to keep it the way it is. Real Madrid have not looked good in this second half, to be honest. They've not looked sharp. They've been a bit timid in their attacks in the second half compared to the first half. Di Marco with a cross. Wow. What a brilliant save there from the Juventus goalkeeper. Meanwhile, Liverpool have introduced Riongo Moha for Mohamed Salah. But that was a brilliant save from the Juventus goalkeeper. Beautiful, beautiful save. I tend to forget his name. Michel Di Gregorio. Yes. Real Madrid have introduced Brahim Diaz for Fede Valverde, as well as Dani Ceballos in that midfield. But what a beautiful save from Michel Di Gregorio. Juventus trying to leverage on every advantage. Vinicius Jr. nearly nicked the ball off those Real Sociedad defenders, but he couldn't keep it on his feet. Wow. It's a goal. Inter Milan 3-2 Juventus. What a strike. What a strike. Christian Chivu runs into wild celebrations. He knows what that means. He knows what that means. What a beautiful goal that was. Inter Milan 3, Juventus 2. If you dare celebrate that way in the Premier League, the celebration policy is going to be all over you. But Pietro Zielinski with a sweet, sweet strike. I mean, you ought to see this. Right from the outside of the 18-yard box. Right on the D with his weaker foot, ugly. Michel Di Gregorio, no matter how good he is, there's no way he was getting to that one. And he couldn't be more disappointed. They gave away the space in front of the 18-yard box, and Zielinski has punished them. I don't think there'll be a way back for Juventus in this one. Certainly not. Certainly not, in my opinion. But you can never say never in football. Juventus, here they come again. They're looking for that equalizer. Can they get it? Oh! Well gathered by Jan Sommer. As a brilliant header. But Jan Sommer was right there. Riongo Moha thought he had got himself on the score sheet, just like he did against Newcastle, but this one won't stand because he's judged to have been in an offside position. But it was a well-taken aim at goal. He pins that ball beyond the reach of the goalkeeper into the bottom corner. But the goal, unfortunately, beautiful as it was to watch, it won't stand. It won't stand. Nice long throw by Winston McKennie. Ball still is in the area. Inter Milan clear. Oh, why didn't Michel Di Gregorio go for that ball? Boni's foul was still much bigger than you could pass for Kalulu. Inter Milan, here they come again. Can they get the fourth? With arguably the last kick of the game. Oh. Nicely cut out. Boni can't believe it. Boni can't believe he didn't score. He was onside. Cuts well inside. Winston McKennie was sent to the cleaners. What a beautiful game we've seen tonight. Juventus 2, Inter Milan 3. Corner kick. Inter Milan are not desperate to get the ball across. They know it's Juventus that are looking for that equalizer. So they will do game management. They'll pass it around to kill time because 4 minutes were added and we're into the 50th minute. Remember, it's a minimum of. It's not an absolute. Jan Sommer goes long. Inter Milan, here they come. Could they find the fourth? Could they kill this game off? Unfortunately not. Bremer fouled there. Juventus looking to go all the way in search for that equalizer with literally the last kick of the game. Don't think they'll get it because Jan Sommer collects. Liverpool desperate to keep a clean sheet. Christian Chivo waiting for the final whistle, and it's finally come. Inter Milan 3, Juventus 2 at full time. Cambiaso with 2 goals, one an own goal and one of his own for the equalizer. Then Esposito scored to make it 2-1 in favor of Inter Milan, and then Magnell Locatelli scored to make it 2-2, while Pietro Zelinski scored to make it 3-2 in favor of the home side. It's game over between Inter Milan and Juventus. So, wow. Meanwhile, Liverpool are still 3 up against still 3 up against Brighton. Real Madrid still leading by 4-1. Looks like it's time for us to adjust to what we are ordinarily accustomed to when it comes to our podcast, so that I'm no longer in that sort of angle, you know. Perhaps we are more accustomed to this setting than the other setting. But yeah, I think we are well adjusted, hopefully. Yeah, the Inter Milan Juventus game has ended in favor of Inter Milan by 3-2. And now we are seeing out the rest of the game between Real Madrid and Real Sociedad, as well as Liverpool against Brighton. We're into the 82nd minute of the game for Real Madrid. Meanwhile, we're in the 88th minute for the game between Liverpool and Brighton. Looking to win. Oof. Oh, Kaoru Mitoma with a beautiful attempt, but it was straight down the middle where Arsenal Ramsey-Specker was. Oh, Sociedad with a goal. So it's Real Madrid 4, Real Sociedad 2. Oh, it doesn't stand. Come on. Come on. You're not missing much. Does it stand? Maybe not. Oh, it was offside. That was offside. The goal doesn't stand. He just delayed that pass. Just delayed that pass. Yankuba Minte, here he comes. That's a poor pass. Oof. Brighton, so close and yet so far in pulling one back against Liverpool. We're into the 86th minute of the game for the game between Real Madrid and Real Sociedad, while we are in the 90th minute of the game between Liverpool and Brighton and Hove Albion. Calvin Ramsey, the right back, and Nyoni in there for Liverpool, just to see out this game. Just to see out this game. Adagula tried to get his name on the score sheet. Could not find the way through. Referee with adding on time on the Liverpool game is a waste of our time. Brighton are not coming back in this one. Oh, what an evening of football that's been so far. Don't worry, we are approaching the very last minutes of the last two games between Real Madrid and Real Sociedad, and then the game between Liverpool and Brighton. Oh, Liverpool are still thinking that one more couldn't hurt. No need Courtois. Real Madrid, here they come. Can they find a fifth? Vinicius Jr. Oh, poor pass. As a poor pass for a final ball. Okay. You're not missing much. We sing out the final minutes of these two games. Oh, Real Madrid with the fifth. It's a goal. Will it stand? That's the question. These days with VR, you can never know whether the goal will stand until the game is restarted. You have to hold your breath. But that's a beautiful header from Vinicius Jr. Looks like it won't stand. Thought he had gotten himself a hat trick. It doesn't stand. Why does it not stand? Does it stray offside? Or was there a foul? It didn't appear to be an offside. Does it go off his shoulder? But a shoulder is not grounds for having it ruled out. The Liverpool game, meanwhile, has ended in favor of Liverpool winning by 3-0. Goals from Mohamed Salah, Dominic Szoboszlai, and Curtis Jones. Why does that not stand? Anyways. Oh, offside. Okay. It is what it is. Otherwise, thank you so much, Pedri. Thank you so much, Isabella Martin, LFC, King Love, Jesus, JFT, 4771, Alvaro Vlogs, and every single one of you that has been part of tonight's broadcast. The game between Real Madrid and Real Sociedad has equally concluded in favor of Real Madrid, winning that game by 4-1, thanks to a penalty brace from Vinicius Jr., goal from Gonzalo Garcia, as well as Fede Valverde, while Mikel Oyarzabal was the goal scorer on the other end from the penalty spot to give Real Sociedad what turned out to be a mere consolation. That means Real Madrid climbed on the summit of the Spanish La Liga table with 2 points ahead of Barcelona, who play on Monday against Girona. So That's the title race. There are only 2 points separate. Only usually when Barcelona are up, it's only a point that separates the two sides. So by the time we get to around the El Clasico, it could be of very very high significance in more ways than not. Otherwise, allow me wish you a blessed night, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. You've been such a wonderful audience. Stay blessed, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye bye for now.